Welcome. Today we're going to be looking at the Huawei Watch Series 7 and the Huawei Watch Fit. Now, this is each one. Today we're going to do a quick compare and review, see which is worth it and which is a waste of time. Sorry. So, they are both very similar in looks. This is the 41mm GPS model with an OLED display, and this is the 41mm GPS model but with an AMOLED display. Now, as previously stated, they both have 41mm in screen real estate, but the dimensions are different. As you can see, the Apple is shorter and wider, but the Watch Fit is slimmer but taller. Now, what I will say is that the AMOLED screen is quite noticeably better compared to the OLED display. I mean, it's up to you what you prefer your screen to look like, but the colours on the Apple Watch just seem to be a little bit washed out. They seem to pop a little bit less. Not to say that it's a bad screen, but it does just go to show how good the screen is on the Watch Fit. Okay, so here's where it gets a bit muddled already, because both of these watches have built-in GPS, SpO2 sensors, pedometers, heart rate monitors, music controls, sleep trackers, which we'll come back to, message notifications, alarms, stopwatch. They also both have exercise trackers and are both water resistant for up to 50 meters. But the Huawei Watch Fit actually has workout programs built into it, complete with animations on what exercises to do and how you should be doing them. That's a very useful feature. The sleep trackers are also very, very different. So for the Huawei Watch Fit, you program a do not disturb schedule for whenever you want your notifications to be turned off, whenever you don't want it to be waking you up. And then when you do eventually fall asleep, it tracks your sleep and how much you get and what type of sleep you're likely having at that point. So for example, REM sleep, deep sleep, light sleep, all that is based on your movement and your heart rate at that particular moment. The Apple Watch is a little bit different though. As with most things Apple, it's long, it's convoluted, and to be honest, it's just unnecessary. So you have to set yourself a bedtime, like you're 6 years old again, and a wake up time, and then you'll be reminded of both of these things. Then, when it's time to go to bed, it will literally track your sleep and just say, you've had X amount of sleep. So not the type of sleep, not to the extent that the Watch Fit does. It literally just says you slept for this long, take a look at this. So I mean, here you can see the Apple Watch, here you can see the Huawei Watch Fit. These are just not even comparable. There's so much more data with the Watch Fit. Now, full disclaimer, neither are 100% accurate. Both say you're sleeping when you're just sitting very still, or you've just woke up and you're just resting your eyes. But the Apple Watch, the sensors on that are a lot better. So the SpO2 sensors and the heart rate sensors are much better on the Apple Watch than they are the Huawei Watch Fit. They seem to be just more reliable. The Apple Watch comes with a full ECG, and the Watch Fit sensors seem to take a few attempts to register. Not that they don't work, but it might take a few attempts to get a reading. Other benefits of the Apple Watch are the NFC payments. This is something that the Watch Fit isn't capable of at the moment, and not in this region, I believe. If you're unfamiliar with what NFC stands for, that's the near field communications, and it's basically the tech that your bank card uses for contactless payments. And as such, you can load your bank card, your store card, your loyalty card onto the Apple Watch and use it to pay for goods and public transport. Also, in the current climate of 2022, if you have an iPhone and you're in a region of the world where you still have to wear a face mask out and about, keeping in mind that the iPhone doesn't have a fingerprint sensor, if you have an Apple Watch along with an iPhone, you can still unlock your phone with Face ID, even when wearing a face mask, as long as you're wearing the watch on your wrist. Now, that does save a lot of hassle, but it is also a hassle from problem of Apple's own making. Like, just give us a fucking fingerprint sensor. What's wrong with you? Anyways, another thing that is frustration with the Watch Fit is this. Both watches have touchscreen and a side button, but with the Watch Fit, you cannot double tap the screen to wake it or check the time. I don't know why. You can with almost every other smartwatch I've encountered, but this one, you can't. Now, that is a small inconvenience, and you can just touch the side button to check the time, but it's just the small things, the small inconveniences, and it's still annoying. Straps are easy to change on both. As you can see here, I've gone for the rose metal link strap on both watches, and I think you can agree it's a huge improvement in looks anyway. Both literally take seconds to swap over. The straps are very, very easy and well thought out, so props to both parties on this one. The Apple Watch also has dedicated versions of some or most of their apps. So Uber, Google Maps, these are to name a few. You have dedicated versions for them on your Apple Watch. This is not something that the Watch Fit has. And the notifications on the Watch Fit when using it with an iPhone are, for lack of a better word, patchy at best. You get about 90% of your notifications, but definitely not all of them. Music controls do not work with iOS when using the Huawei Watch Fit. So that is also an X for the Watch Fit. So this is probably the biggest, or one of the biggest differences. So Apple quote 18 hours of battery life, just 18 hours. It's not even one fucking day. On the flip side, Huawei claim 10 full days of battery life. That's an absolute chasm between the two. In real world showing, I found that the Apple Watch usually gets about a day and a half out of light use with minimal workouts. And the Watch Fit delivers around a week with the same conditions. But that is still a huge difference and a clear win for the Huawei. And finally, the largest difference between the two. So today, at a popular online retailer, the Apple Watch Series 7 GPS 41mm model is on sale for £339. The Huawei Watch Fit with a 41mm screen and GPS at the same retailer is £69. That is a difference of £270. To me, that is mind-boggling. Now, I can concede that the Apple Watch does outshine the Watch Fit in some departments, the reliability of the sensors, the dedicated apps, but £300 difference? Nah, no fuego, non comprende. In what world is this £300 better than this? The price to performance difference just doesn't match up. Now, it's up to you to make up your mind, but what I will say is if you're an Apple douchebag like me and you're in the Apple ecosystem, then yes, the Apple Watch Series 7 is a very functional and useful addition. However, if you're not an Apple sheep and you're on an Android or anything that's not an Android, a Nokia maybe, then the Watch Fit is an excellent piece of kit. And full disclaimer, I wouldn't be wearing the Apple Watch if it wasn't for my partner buying it for my birthday. The Huawei Watch Fit, just think about it, just saying.